This is G.I. Joe Fan 2001 with a new video on something that caught our eye a decade ago. Today marks 10 years since Kony 2012 was released to the public on YouTube, just 2 weeks after being uploaded to Vimeo. A video that was the main part of a campaign meant to raise awareness on Ugandan warlord Joseph Kony that soon became a passing fad. And since then, the video got age-gated on YouTube and has fallen into obscurity. Despite being one of the most viewed videos during an era where getting 1 million views was a big deal. It has since been surpassed by music videos and nursery rhymes. So what happened? The video concerns a man named Jason Russell, an activist, founder, and former member of the controversial charity Invisible Children. It addresses the unspeakable atrocities committed by Ugandan warlord Joseph Kony. Most of what he has done has affected children. The film also addresses the friendship that Russell made with a boy in Uganda named Jacob. Russell made a promise to Jacob to stop Kony. He also expects that 2012 will be the year that we capture Kony and quote-unquote change the course of history. Russell also states that the film will expire on December 31st, 2012, even though it hasn't expired and is still viewable on YouTube and Vimeo. The film also has interviews with Russell's son Gavin, Luis Ocampo, a former prosecutor for the International Criminal Court, Jacob, as well as other Ugandans who came to America, and even U.S. politicians, to name just a few. The film had a lot of goals, and most of them were pretty ambitious and optimistic. They include spreading a documentary on who Kony was to as many people as possible, under the belief that if the world knew what he did, he would have been stopped years ago. The main people they wanted to bring attention to were 20 celebrities and 12 politicians, so that they could, quote, use their power for good. The celebrities were chosen due to their loud voices and how what they say can spread quickly. With the politicians, they needed them to do some action on the issue, and to get something for them to agree on during an election year. The filmmakers also encouraged you to donate money to the organization. That also included buying a $40 action kit containing 2 shirts, 2 bracelets, 1 for you and 1 to give away, stickers, and posters. And plaster Kony's name and face everywhere in an attempt to get him famous so that his crimes will be brought to the world's attention. The next day of importance for Invisible Children's attempt to raise awareness will be April 20th, 2012 with Cover the Night, in which by nightfall people would plaster Kony posters all over their hometown. By this point, criticism was mounting against the organization, their efforts, and the film itself. They ranged from the business operations of Invisible Children, how the money that was donated was being spent, the film oversimplifying a wildly complex issue, more of the focus being on the filmmakers rather than Kony himself, using 10-year-old footage, the message coming in too late, and the film going after something that most of the world did not see as a major threat. And also by this point, the film was becoming a passing fad. There are a lot of things that contributed to the downfall of Kony 2012. The first and most significant one was that it was oversimplifying a complex issue. What Kony did and the promise of Uganda are far more complicated than what the film presents. None of this is downplaying what Joseph Kony did, by the way. Not to mention that there is a strong chance that Joseph Kony may not even be alive, even when the video was made. There are some sources that say that he died sometime around 2006. He was pushed out of Uganda by the time the film was made. It was even addressed in said film. The main target of the film was kids in school, including yours truly back in the day. Or in layman's terms, it was brainwashing them. In the film, it is mentioned that U.S. politicians did not see Kony as a major threat and would not send troops after him. Basically, the film admitted one of its own faults. The film did not represent all of Uganda. Most, if not all of the Ugandans in the film, work for or are associated with Invisible Children. A screening of the film did result in a riot in the Ugandan town of Lira, one of the major areas in Uganda that was affected by Kony. The other damning thing was how the money that was donated was being spent. Only around 32% of it actually made it to help Uganda. The rest covered travel expenses for the organization. Cover the Night had a low attendance, despite the amount of protesters depicted in the film. The second blow came in the form of Jason Russell's breakdown. What happened was that Jason Russell, the creator of the film, was caught naked wandering the streets of San Diego. He was smacking the pavement, cursing, and screaming about the devil. Instead of being arrested, he was taken to a hospital and was placed in a voluntary psychiatric hold. It was neither caused by drugs nor alcohol, but instead was caused by exhaustion, dehydration, malnutrition, and the emotional toll brought on by the film. In the wake of Kony 2012 fading from the public spotlight, Invisible Children intend to keep their attention on the warlord by releasing more follow-up videos and hosting more rallies. Even then, these didn't work, and the attendance and interest kept growing smaller and smaller. A lot has changed in the 10 years since Kony 2012 grabbed our attention and pulled at our heartstrings. Things about the video itself were previously mentioned at the beginning, but what about everything else? Kony 2012 now sits at 103 million views on YouTube and 18 million views on Vimeo. Invisible Children's last video was uploaded to YouTube on December 18, 2018. But their Facebook and Twitter pages are still active as of this writing. Their operations have shrunk dramatically since the video was made. Kony's army, the Lord's Resistance Army, or LRA, continues to split into smaller fractions. He is no longer seen as a major threat by the world, including Uganda. Nothing major was heard of Jason Russell since his interview with Oprah Winfrey in October of 2012, his first public appearance since his mental breakdown, except for the occasional TED Talk. He has since left Invisible Children and was not involved in later projects. He is still an activist that cares about what is happening to children in Uganda. We haven't heard anything major about Jason Russell's family or Jacob. So, what is there to learn from all of this? Here are my answers. The first and obvious one proves how success and failure are closely related. The film was both a success and then it became a failure. Secondly, I feel that it has ruined the reputation of online activism. Thirdly, it proves that emotion sells. Fourthly, it did not represent an entire country. Fifthly, it showed how powerful social media can be. And finally, it showed how an extremely complicated issue can be overly simplified and framed in a black and white narrative that is easy to digest. This is not saying that you shouldn't donate a charity or give up hope on something that you hold close to heart while the world does not view as important. It's how you handle it. And Kony 2012 was certainly handled in the wrong way, by ego and greed. Until then, this is G.I. Joe Fan 2001, hoping that you stay safe and have learned something from this history lesson.